Warning: this program contains strong language, auditory violence, and mental nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to your uncensored home for World of Warcraft news and opinions. This is Unshackled Fury.
Gas up your engine, check that tire pressure, and keep all arms and legs inside the vehicle, as it is once again time to venture deep into our Azerothian home and see what adventure awaits down in the dark below. So welcome back for episode 160 of your uncensored home for World of Warcraft news and opinions, Unshackled Fury. I'm your host, Berserker, and with me today we have a surprise guest from the Live, Laugh, Lore, and Dungeon Fables podcast, D&D games near you, and one of the most legendary Warcraft pirates across all the seven seas. Welcome back to the show, Allie. How the heck are you, my friend?
You know, every time when I think you can't top your intro for me, you manage to find a way to do it. Fantastic. I'm great. I'm happy to be here. It's a good time to be playing the game and talking about it, and just good times ahead.
We got a lot going on.
Yes.
Yes.
Like we're at that like pregnant pause before everything just like explodes on us.
A deep breath before the plunge. Yes.
Exactly.
So we're ready to go. And yes, if you're wondering where Jez is on a well-earned vacation, like an actual vacation. Like he left Europe vacation. Like he's in Hawaii vacation.
Wow. Good for him. That's right.
Yeah.
You mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's funny, independently, of course, he'll be there for a couple weeks, back sometime early March. And then there's a little bit of a crossover where hopefully we can record some cinema for everybody, because then I'm going out to Hawaii for spring break. But I have some plans for things, so the schedule should not be too interrupted. You may have 1 3-week break instead of a 2-week break between episodes somewhere coming up in March, but I promise that things will be in place. But glad to have you here. It's been a while, been a hot minute since you've been here, and since you haven't been here, just generally, how has the war within been treating you?
Great. It's been such a good time. The story has been really enjoyable. I love the heck out of Delves. I still do. I even beat just last night Zekvir double question mark.
Ooh, you did it.
Was not easy,
You
but
got
I
the
did
void
it.
blimp.
I did.
Good for
Which
you.
It's good. I didn't know if I would. The first couple times I stepped in and just got obliterated, but got it.
What's the
But
secret?
The secret is,
What was your class spec? What's the secret? How'd you do it?
well, I'm Shadow Priest,
Okay.
and Bran was healer.
Okay.
And as long as you find a way to get the, I think it's called enfeebling bite or whatever off you, which sometimes Bran helps with, sometimes he doesn't. So if you find a way to manage that, interrupt when Zekvir is healing, and then kill the egg thingy before the spider spawns, then you're good. Other than that, it's just avoiding the stuff. But there's not much room for error, so it's not easy. But it's doable. I had to do a little research, see what others who have gone before me have done, and get their tips, and there was a macro and all this jazz, but it's done, which feels really good. But yeah, otherwise outside of Delves, it's, doing the raid thing and doing less Mythic Plus than I usually do this last patch. But the story's been fantastic, and I'm loving what is ahead of us and what we've experienced so far and diving into it. And I am I'm here for it, and I'm so glad.
The lore community, I imagine, must be eating very well.
We really are.
That's yeah. Whenever there's these big lore drops, I always think of your current gig, the Live Laugh Lore podcast with our homie Jen. And on that note, two things. One, because I am an egomaniac, and this is really all about me in the end. This is a cross-promotional opportunity here.
Yes.
Since, as it turns out, I will be appearing for the first time in I don't know how many years on Live Laugh Lore. And remind me, when are we doing that? That's like next week.
Yeah, we're not recording this upcoming week, but the following week.
The following, okay.
So it's gonna
like 2 weeks.
You gotta go, yeah. But like it's episode 150.
Ooh,
which
yes.
The last time you guessed it was episode 50. So it's been 100 episodes.
Wow.
It's been, back then we were doing bi-weekly. Now we're doing weekly. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
So we thought, who better to bring on than the one who celebrated 50 with us?
Oh, well,
yeah.
That's very nice. What are we going to talk about? Do you know?
The new patch.
The new patch. Okay.
Because it drops this upcoming Tuesday. So we'll have time to go in there and get our feet wet and dive in, and we'll talk about that and our experiences and goblin shenanigans, and it'll be great.
I'll be ready. I'll pay attention and take notes. So I don't drag the program down. As you are one of the top podcasts, so I don't want to jump in there and slow it all down. But secondly, and most importantly, you all just had a huge interview come through. And of course, I don't see Wowhead covering any of this stuff because I don't know. Podcasts are still the redheaded stepchildren of
really
the content creator community. But you had a really big interview. Can you tell us a little bit about who that was with and what y'all talked about?
Yeah, so it was assistant lead quest designer Mark Collada and the lead prop artist Jordan Powers
of Pepe fame.
Yes, of Pepe fame.
Yes.
And Mark's been doing a lot of interviews lately too. Both of them actually have lately. This expansion, and they're both great. It was really fun. We only had half an hour, so you know how these things go. You have to be really choosy about your questions, but it was really fun. And to hear some of the thought that goes into it, because this is the first time we've gotten a goblin centric patch, and a lot of people are super excited about it. But we asked about how they prep for something like this, how they dive into the lore and story of the goblins and kind of make sure they're honoring that side of things in this very goblin-centric patch. And we talked a bit about goblin culture and what it's all going to look like and what they were excited for. And to hear the details and thoughts that went into the creation of Undermined and the zone in general and all the bits of it, I was already excited. Like, goblins have never been necessarily my thing, but I do like zany shenanigans. So I'm like, all right, it'll be a fun patch. I'm honestly really excited for it now after hearing them talk about it and the details that went into the zone and the story. I am super excited.
There you go. And that is now out for public consumption. Yes.
Yes, it dropped Friday. Yes, episode 148.
Ooh. There you go. So if you want to hear the two best people talking to two other great people, get out there and download that episode 148. Because I think it's nice that they included the podcasts, at least one in this round. I don't know who else was doing anything. I saw a lot of other videos and different things, but it's as you well know, and as we lament constantly here on this show, is that podcasts get very little love these days, and I don't know, maybe one of these days it'll turn around. But congratulations on the interview. Fantastic job on that. And people definitely get out there and give it a listen. And speaking of giving things a listen, we're gonna, because this is my want to do, we're gonna change it up a little bit. We're gonna do the metal song of the week instead of the metal album of the week, because there's not yet an album, and I don't know when there will be, but the sort of namesake band for this show, Black Label Society, I should say, put out a new song just this past week and an accompanying video, which is crazy and makes no sense. And the song is called Lord Humongous, which
that's fantastic.
It is a fantastic name. So the song itself has a very kind of old Black Label sound. You know, it's kind of shifted over time, but it's just kind of that hard charging early days kind of sound. And in the video, you may see them wearing these hockey masks and sumo suits while riding on tricycles. And I'm not really sure what the sumo suits are all about. But the hockey masks are in homage to the name of the song, Lord Humongous, which you may be thinking, Lord Humongous, where have I heard that? What is that? Well, if you know the Mad Max franchise, and you know the second movie, The Road Warrior, you may remember a jacked up dude with a big leather harness on and a hockey mask whose name was Lord Humongous. And he was the leader of like the barbarian berserker nomadic clan that went around and was raising hell and killing people and taking their guzzling and doing whatever. Yes, he had the hockey mask. He had this big like collar on and a harness and these like little leather booty shorts, and there's like a bikini brief and boots, and I'm like, it's an aesthetic, let me tell you.
Yes,
only in the 80s could you have gotten away with it. He has like a spiked like a wrist cuff, like a big one, and it's got the big spikes on it. And for those that care about these things, his firearm is a Smith & Wesson 44 caliber Model 29 revolver with a scope and an 8-inch barrel. So if you're wondering what that is that he's shooting people with, I've given you now all the information I can give you about this character, which is probably way more information anybody needs to know. But that is for whom the song is named, and the lyrics of the song are kind of about that group. But it's a banger. It's a certified banger, and I really wish that the Pantera tour that Zakk Wylde is helping with would take longer breaks or something so he could get in the studio and actually record a whole album with the band. But we've been told it's going to be probably a little while. But in the meantime, we get these little singles spun out and
just kind of drip feeding it to you, just to kind of keep the excitement going.
Man, it's what they're doing to us. But yes, that is our metal song of the week, Lord Humongous by Black Label Society. So if you haven't heard it, it's available everywhere. Go check it out. Go watch that crazy video and you will see what I mean. All right. I have a long simmering rage segment, a very long simmering. Oh, we're going way back for this one. But it was renewed once again. So why don't we get into that? Let's rage. Gather round, children. Gather round. I want to take you back to the heady days of the Wrath of the Lich King expansion era. A wonderful time, a beautiful time, a golden time in the snow. That sounded wrong. Don't eat the golden snow. It was a wonderful time, and if for no other reason than the way that it worked with looking for dungeon groups and chain running them, and we would just blast through these dungeons like tissue paper. We just annihilated these things. The homie Rommel would tank up. I'd run in there, and we'd get some other yahoos, and we would just pull he'd pull a whole dungeon all the way to the end, and we would just blast and just pillage, and it was beautiful, and it was great. And then Cataclysm came along, and all of a sudden, these dungeons were the hardest goddamn dungeons in the history of the game, and I hated it. What was once an easy thing and a fun thing and an achievable thing suddenly became very, very difficult, and I hated it, and it renewed my distaste for dungeons once again, and has probably colored my experience ever since. Now, thankfully, Cataclysm ended, we moved on, we've had other dungeons and expansions since. That being said, we have a little thing now called time walking. And this week was Cataclysm time walking. And once again, I found myself with the homie Rommel tanking and me in these dungeons, and they're still hard as hell. And there's no way to get into a dungeon halfway when you die. You got to start all the way from the beginning again. They're super long and complicated, and these dungeons are terrible. I don't like these Cataclysm dungeons. I will never like them. They've always been terrible. They were too hard. I blame Ghostcrawler. I know he's been gone for 1,000 years, but I know somehow this is his fault.
Sure, why not?
Never again should Cataclysm be part of any time walking. Fuck them. Fuck that. No more ever again. No more nothing. I don't know. Did you ever like those dungeons?
I did not dislike them as much as you disliked them, apparently. I do remember back then, I liked them. I hated healing them because at that time, they just did this squish with something with mana regen or something. And basically, you wanted to make it trickier for healers. And especially when you're first gearing up, you feel it even more so. Specifically, Grim Batol.
Horrible.
It was so, to this day, I still am just a little like traumatized going into Grim Batol. Just the memories of how hard it was back then when you were first gearing up.
God.
And I do agree. Like, you die, like, is some of the longest runs back. And it did have some of the more unforgiving mechanics back in the day, because it would have things you would have to interrupt, things you would have to dispel. It would have one-shot mechanics that if you didn't do them right, you were dead.
Yep.
And some of those mechanics can still get you in time walking. It's definitely a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
But some of them can still get you or make fights difficult if you're not careful.
Yeah. I died many times.
I died.
We were with I know at least once we had some folks leveling because there was like some achievements going off when they first got the dungeon, and I was like, all right, we helped some people. That's good. But in case people out there have forgotten, there is a statistics tab that you can look at in game that will tell you like how many times you've killed end bosses in every dungeon and every raid and the whole thing. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I either never did some of these or I only did them one time. And sure enough, I went and looked, and for every Cataclysm dungeon, there was only one that I had at least killed the end boss more than twice.
Wow.
There was one I did, I think it was like, a dozen times or whatever. It's probably because I needed something out of it or wanted something out of it.
Probably, yeah.
But I never again. I will skip that quest that week. I don't need to run 5 dungeons that week. I can, I don't know, spend my time better banging my head against the wall, something like that. But maybe it's for you. But for me, Cataclysm dungeons are out.
It is interesting going through because you can always tell who didn't do it back at content. Like, for example, Vortex Pinnacle, the last boss, Assad, he's one of the Zephyr guys, right?
Ugh.
He does that. He draws that electric triangle on the floor, and you have to get in it to be safe from all the other crap. And you can always tell who doesn't actually get in it. And as a healer, I have to be on top of it with my big heals ready to go in order to keep them alive, or just pull them in. And then they run out because they're idiots. But, they just didn't go through it back in content. So you can always kind of tell, like, all right, who's gonna live this time?
That whole part of it was terrible. Like, Cata had its moments, but too hard. So we'll lay all that at the doorstep of Ghostcrawler, wherever he is, building his own game now with his own company and whatnot. But the scars that he's left behind will forever tingle a little bit when we run our hands over. All right, we got some big news. It's a big week for us. So why don't we go ahead and leave that there, and we'll jump into our news. So as Ali mentioned just a few short minutes ago, this Tuesday, February 25th, Patch 11.1 Undermined officially, finally, at long last, will launch into the wild, and we will be taking ourselves down into the depths once again. Apparently some offshoot of the Ringing Deeps, but we'll be going down into Azeroth to finally lay eyes on and get hands on this fabled goblin undermine zone, which I think has kind of been in the plans or in the works or part of the map since the beginning. Like for 20 years, this thing's been thought about or mentioned, and now we're finally getting our hands on it. I know you mentioned this a little bit earlier when we were talking about your own interview, but are you just as a zone, are you happy to finally see this thing and be in this thing and for it to be out in the wild and not just some mythical talked about place?
At first, I was mostly happy for the goblin lovers.
Yeah.
And it is nice to finally, because it was on the map forever ago, just one little corner of the map.
Yep.
And so it is nice, like, hey, we're finally doing it. Cool. It wasn't until after I started seeing some of the videos and hearing some of the features and again, hearing from the interview, the thought process that went into creating this zone, it's then that I started actually getting hyped for it beyond just a, hey, cool, it's new stuff. It's going to be so much fun. Super excited.
So with this coming out on Tuesday, the 25th, that also means that Plunderstorm Round 2 will be ending.
It's so sad.
And as this comes out on Monday, the Monday before, if you hear this the day of, you got today, and that's it. Did you get in on round number 2? Did you enjoy Plunderstorm Revamped, and did you accomplish all your goals, Allie?
Of course I did. That's a silly question. Yes, now admittedly I have not played it as much as I was originally thinking I was going to because of another game called Cyberpunk. It's Cyberpunk's fault.
We'll get to that.
I did get everything I wanted from it. I think I've collected all the things at this point. And the new revamps were great. I think it was really well done. And it was fun. I'm ready. If they do Plunderstorm again, I'm ready for a new area, like a new zone to do it in. But good changes. The transmog was amazing for this round, whatever you want to call it. And good times were had.
What zone would you want it to be? What would be the next good zone for them to do this in?
Freehold.
Yeah.
Something Booty Bay, maybe. Think of like some good like piratey kind of zones.
That was always kind of the
Something like
surprising
that.
part to me about it being in Arathi Highlands. I'm like, this isn't really like a
It's
like a
not what you
piratey
would
zone.
think. No, it's really like you would not think that at all with Arathi. So I'm not sure why they chose that. I understand there's other PvP things that happen in that zone naturally. I get it, but yeah, I've always thought the same thing. It was an interesting choice of zones.
Put that in the feedback. They're always looking for feedback, so maybe they can change that up. So that's going away. What's coming in? What are we getting with 11.1? And we've kind of touched on everything. I think the major beats, part and parcel, but we'll kind of run through them here as we go. So first, obviously, Undermine the zone at long last. The goblin home now, because there used to be Kazan, but Kazan is no more. So this is basically what you got left. And we're storyline wise, right? We're going after Xalatath. Xalatath and Gallywix, there's some connection there. Some people might know what that is. I'm not going to say what it is right now because I might have spoiled that for myself. But there is a legitimate reason for this to happen. I know. At first I was like, what in the good goddamn does Undermine or the goblins have anything to do with what we've been doing? But it will make sense. I promise. Based on what I've seen and read, it will make sense. But we will be going down there, following them as we continue to try to figure out what in the hell's going on. And while we're there, we're going to meet these 4 major cartels. There's a 5th secret cartel. I know Jez mentioned last time, and I agree with him that I don't think that 5th cartel is going to be like the other 4. Or these other 4, the Bilgewater, Blackwater, Steamweedle, and Venture Company, these are all goblins. I think that 5th one might be ethereals. Would you ascribe to that theory, or do you have an idea of who that 5th cartel might be?
I have a couple ideas of what that 5th cartel might be, and they were all goblin related. I've never considered ethereals entering the game at this point. I do believe
they have a cartel in.
They do, yeah.
Like
They've got
Orbos or something.
Yeah, they've got like a cartel thing for sure. Like actually have multiple sects of a cartel or something like that. I think it would be interesting, and I do think we're getting more ethereals coming up in the next patch or closer to in midnight, whatever. Mm-hmm. Especially as Locust Walker starts kind of making a reappearance at some point. I don't know about it being this early. I might have to disagree with Jez, but if that is what we get, I would be very happy.
Who do you think it would be though? What do the goblins show you something out there?
So I know and this isn't necessarily a spoiler per se, because it's been all over, like it's not even in data mining. It's been on World of Warcraft's website when they were introducing the zone and all that jazz. And it is the Dark Fuse. They're a group that is the new dungeon we're getting, Operation Floodgate. They're working with Venture Code to flood the Ring Deeps. Sorry, I probably jumped ahead there. And they're working with Gallywix apparently. And again, this is not a spoiler. It's like it's on the website. So it could be that. But in the latest, I'm trying to look it up so I can make sure I say it correctly, because it just got in the new short story that just came out, The Tipping Point. Did you listen to that one?
I haven't listened to it yet.
So good. So good. But it mentions a cartel we've never heard about before.
Oh.
And I'm trying to look it up because I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
And this is a short story that was released just this past week. Is this audio? Is it text only? Is it both? You know?
It was audio.
And
there it is. So yeah, it was audio, and it was read by Matthias Shaw's voice actor, which is his goblin voice, surprisingly very good. Very, very good. It was fantastic.
Nice.
But it goes over the backstory of Renzik, the goblin that works with SI7. And he came from Undermined originally, where he worked with the Crackslagger cartel.
Oh.
Which that's a new name. I've never heard it before. I don't think it's ever been mentioned in the game, but it was mentioned in this short story. So I don't know if they're still around. I don't know if they're going to play a part in this. I don't know. We'll see.
That makes sense. That would make a lot of sense. They don't do this just because. That actually makes a lot of sense. Okay. Well, I do want to point out, if you ever want to know how popular your show is, put a poll out on Spotify and see if anybody answers it. Because for 2 weeks that we had a poll up asking people which of the cartels they would join, and none of you motherfuckers said anything. No, not one entry in this thing.
So, to be fair, I know for myself, I rarely use Spotify for podcasts.
No,
I use Pocket Cast or something. I need to start looking at Spotify apparently.
Yeah, Spotify is interesting. We just moved over to that at the beginning of the year when we left Bonus Roll. So, I'm taking a look at it, and I was like, I'll throw up a poll and see what happens. Nobody answered it. Nobody, not one. I didn't even do it myself just to like goose the numbers. But that is an interesting choice for a fifth cartel. That might be right. So we'll go down to Undermine, check out these cartels, learn about Goblin Society, see what the hell Gallywix has got going on, because he's the big bad in charge down there, and we're gonna find out, how he became so powerful down there and some other things. But I think the feature that is gonna get, I'm sure, a fair amount of scrutiny is this D.R.I.V.E edition, where we're going to get a customizable driving mount. And they use the D.R.I.V.E acronym, and it stands for Dynamic and Revolutionary Improvements to Vehicular Experiences. So that is what it is for. You will be driving. The actual vehicle is the customizable G99 Breakneck. That's the name of your vehicle. And they've shown in previews, if you haven't been on the PTR, that it will be customizable to a certain extent. I think they have a few colors that are available, but things like the drift or how the car handles itself, like that's going to be the thing. There's going to be races. It's a big zone, and so because we can't fly, this will be apparently the speediest way to get around. And I have yet to have hands-on with this. I wanted to play it as it came out to kind of see what the final polished version of this looks like. I could see this being a lot of fun if there are more vehicles over time, perhaps, because again, I think the goblin aesthetic is not necessarily my favorite. So
yeah, I get that. Me neither.
Appreciate the customization. I think that'll be kind of neat, but you know, I gotta have, you know, I think about Azeroth choppers, right? Like, I didn't really like what the Alliance ended up with, this like this roly-poly looking fucking thing that they gave us with the armor on the back. It was a little strange. But like that kind of vibe of a vehicle. Like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be Alliance, but something that's, you know, kind of cool in that way. Give me some of those kinds of vehicles. I think it'd be pretty sweet. But I am very excited to get my hands on this and try some races. That's the thing. I want to see full Fast and Furious. I think brother Navox getting to live out his Fast and Furious fantasies down there and Undermine, and I think I'll kind of want to do the same. But have you gotten on the PTR? Have you tried it out at all, or is this going to be fresh out of the box for you too?
It's fresh out of the box. I have it downloaded. I had every intention to, but again, got distracted with Cyberpunk, so that's the thing. I am excited. It was mentioned during the interview that we did that it's going to be one of those things kind of like with Dragonflight, with the flying that they introduced there, that they kind of roll it out over time. You know, they put it out, take in the feedback, make some changes. So they definitely want to hear the feedback. They want to hear the suggestions. They liked my suggestion of Mario Kart, you know, so they want to hear all of the suggestions and all the feedback. So definitely feel free to give it. I will say, I think it was Jordan that mentioned that it took a little bit to get used to the controls and how to really make it all work. He did admit that, but like once he got it down, like he was out doing drifting donuts out near in front of the hotel or whatever. So
yeah,
it takes a little bit to get used to from what I hear. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited. I hope there's some sweet ramps so you can get some good air. It's not quite like flying, but you know, just some ramps. I want some ramps. I don't know why. I just really want that.
there is a lot of variety that you could bring to something like this, and you know, like, you know, dynamic flying, I guess we could, you know, dragon riding for those of us that were, you know, around. How long will it take until we see the drive mechanic appear in a raid? Like, for real, like where you're racing across locations in a raid and having to, I don't know, disarm bombs or stop people, or like big zone wide racing where maybe you have to split a team and you gotta like real Fast and Furious, you gotta take something down, but you gotta have multiple teams like up in different areas, and that's what I think we're waiting for. That's the big get.
I think it'd be really fun for the people who do like the system and not fun for the people who don't like it.
You imagine that on LFR?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. People would quit the game.
That's gonna be a mess. That's gonna be a hot mess right there.
They just have to automatically port people around because there's no way you could trust folks.
Or maybe have an NPC be the driver and they can just hop in the back or something.
Yeah, that might be the spot. There's certainly room. You know, I mean, these are big enough vehicles, and I don't know.
Spacious.
Very, very spacious. Probably not very environmentally friendly though.
It's goblins. Nothing they do is environmentally friendly at all. Not one bit.
Lucky if it goes down the road. Reminds me of a lot of like if anybody watched Married with Children, like Al Bundy's car was a piece of shit, and like you were, you know, it was a miracle if Al got, you know, to the shoe store and home, you know, in one piece on that thing, especially on the mean streets of Chicago. But that's definitely one of the biggest pieces coming in the expansion. I'm sure we're going to be seeing and hearing a lot more about it. Cartels we talked about, you know, the 4 major cartels. You'll be siding with them and doing quests for them and unlocking, you know, certain rewards depending on who you go with. So it'll be, I know, interesting is to kind of jump into there and see sort of like the existing paths we have now. Like, whose mount do I want? Whose pet do I want? Whose gimmick do I want? Whose gear do I want?
Yeah.
That's the real game now.
It's feeling like it.
More than anything else. Do you PvP?
I used to dabble back in the day, but not as much these days.
All right. So for those interested, again, not a PvP show. There will be the Cage of Carnage as a new PvP arena if that's something that you're interested in. Again, if you want to,
it does look cool.
It does look cool as hell. I'm not gonna go in there, but it does look cool as hell.
Right.
If you have those kinds of persuasions, I encourage you to jump in there and check it out. But not here. No more. Welfare epics in BC were the extent of my PvP, and never again. But technically, PvP is a great podcast. They'll be back for season 2 if you want to listen to that. So please do. Maybe most important of everything, I don't know, depending on who you are, we're going to get 4 new campsites for our Warband login screen. We're going to have one in Onaran Overlook. We're going to have one at Cultist's Quay. This is in Donegal. And Reno Jackson will be our vendor there, which he's a vendor. Wait a minute. Vendor Reno Jackson Zone Donegal unlocked. Oh, there we go. That's what we're looking for. We have to progress in the Delver's journey to unlock the Cultist's Quay. That's it. Okay. There is Feywold Spring, which is over there, I think just south of. It's like in the southern part of Azalgar.
Something like that. In Donegal.
It's like south of Donegal. You have to get an achievement called All That Kaz, probably exploration or something. And then the 4th one is the Galagio Grand Gallery, which requires the Going Goblin Mode achievement, and that looks to be very much like the interior of the casino-esque palace of Galliwick. So if that's your vibe, if you want that like slick Vegas vibe, I guess that's where your warband can hang out. But
yeah,
a peaceful one, a dank one, another peaceful one, and a super loud and noisy one. So you got those kind of 4 vibes to add to your warband. Of these 4, which one do you gravitate towards the most? Which one do you think you'll fire up first?
That's a good question. I mean, none of the ones I was hoping for are in this list.
What do you hope for?
Maybe down the road. I was hoping for like Grizzly Hills or
that's what everybody
Nagrand or whatever. But out of these, it's probably toss up between Onaran Overlook and Feywold Spring.
There you go. Cultist Quay feels like a bat cave. Like if you were really going for like that kind of vibe, like that's good for you. And yeah, Galagio's like all party. But I'm with you. Onaran Overlook feels like it's that, it's the campsite vibe. I mean, that's just, I don't know, it feels good. Although it's very warrior centric. But if we could get our class hall or something that felt a little more metal, that'd be kind of nice. It would be cool to have something like that. Grizzly Hills is number 1. I can't believe that they haven't added that yet, or they haven't. They
will eventually. They will. They have to.
It's the most talked about. Like everybody says Grizzly. Everybody says Grizzly Hills. Horde Alliance is one of the few things that we can agree on. Right. Grizzly Hills is one of the places, and Nagrand. Like put us up on one of the floating rocks and just leave us up there.
Love those floating rocks.
Oh my god. That if we had Grizzly Hills, probably never leave. That's why they don't want to do it, because they want people to use this stuff. But that is coming. I was actually talking about this with the homie Rommel this past week, which I thought was a really cool addition, and I don't know why they didn't do this earlier. Is on your quest log in game, they're going to be adding something called an event tab. And in that, it's going to show you all the ongoing events and an event schedule within Kaz-Algar, including surge pricing for the new D.R.I.V.E feature. But as somebody who kind of has irregular playtimes, I don't always know like when something's happening or where something's happening or whatever it is. So if you're not like super connected with the calendar and the clock and like kind of where you are in that is such a nice, easy quality of life addition. I don't know why it took so long.
It's much nicer than having to have an add-on to tell you, because the amount of events in game has definitely increased, and there's definitely some add-ons that have helped with that. This is much nicer.
Way better.
Having it built into the game already, it makes sense. It's a logical thing.
Logical. I think that's what it is.
Concept.
And I say this probably too often, I don't want to have to go to Wowhead every time I need to see something or find something or learn something or figure something out. I really, really don't. So to be able to have that information in game already, phenomenal. So appreciate that getting added in. Along with all of this though, season 2 finally starting. That's the big get, I think, for a lot of people. New raid, new dungeon, all that kind of jazz. So season 2, while the patch is going to start officially, launch all the zone and features and all that kind of stuff, that will start February 25th, this coming Tuesday. Season 2 doesn't actually begin until March 4th. We have that break, it's kind of more of a modern WoW thing where it doesn't all happen all at once. We have a bit of a break between the patch launching and when the raid and stuff comes out. So we will have a week in between there, but season 2 begins March 4th. And for those of you that are raiders, the liberation of Undermine is where you're going to be spending the next several months of your life. So I hope that this is something that you enjoy. And for a continued schedule rollout on this, just so everybody has a sense of what this is, March 4th, first day of season 2, we'll have Raid Finder, Wing 1, normal mode, heroic mode, and mythic mode, difficulty. We'll have all of those out week 1. The following week, March 11th, you'll have Wing 2 of Raid Finder, and my new favorite, the story mode. That way I can just see the end and get my quest done, and I don't have to worry about bothering guildies or other people or some sort of raid run. Then the following week, March 18th, Raid Finder Wing 3, and then the final week of March 25th, Raid Finder Wing 4, which is just the last boss, the Chrome King Gallywix. So if that is of your interest, that's where you're going to be going. So let's talk a little bit about Undermine. A little bit of a shorter raid, in my opinion. 8 bosses. I guess maybe I'm just used to like 10, 12
I feel
bosses.
like lately it's been between 8 and 10, but I feel like the average in the last few tiers has been 8.
How do you feel, as somebody who still raids, how do you feel the rollout of the raid so far has been in War Within terms of like pacing and number of bosses and kind of difficulty? Because you're on our team, you did what, heroic?
Yeah, we do heroic. Never. I mean, we might dip our toes into the first boss on Mythic once in a blue moon, but that hasn't happened in a while. We focus on AOTC and get the raid achievements and then call it done.
How did you feel about the first raid?
It was pretty good. There's a couple moments here and there, especially for the last boss, where on heroic, where there's little room for error. And the difficulty ran on normal. I think normal is good. I thought it was scaled well. It's good, fun. Heroic, the last 2 bosses and the egg boss, but that's a whole different story. But the last 2 bosses, like the difficulty ramp up of those 2 was pretty ridiculous. Like we thought that was ridiculous. A lot of the community thought it was ridiculous. So that was a little weird. But otherwise, it was a pretty good raid. I appreciate that the last fight did not take as long as other final fights in the past, like Sylvanas, for example.
Oh Lord!
It doesn't take a full like 15 minutes to do the whole fight.
Ugh.
So that was nice.
That is good. I I remember them talking about making a concerted effort to not have the final bosses be so long, where you get deep into these pulls and it's, you're like you said, going on 15 minutes, and then you wipe and it's like, God damn.
It feels so bad. I hate the really long fights.
4 pulls in an hour. I mean, that's just like, that's terrible. So so with Undermine, 8 bosses, like we mentioned, story mode, raid finder, normal, heroic, and mythic difficulties. Raid finder minimum eye level will be 606. So if that's your persuasion, check your gear and see what you got there. As far as the raid bosses themselves, to go through this quickly, we have Vexy and the Gear Grinders, which is basically some goblins driving this big ass tank looking thing with like a cow catcher on the front of it. It's got spikes and all kinds of stuff, and I'm pretty sure it's going to run you over. Next, we have up the Cauldron of Carnage, and I'm looking at a picture of a giant mechanical T-Rex and a borged out gorilla. So I wish everybody luck in that. Rick Reverb, next up. This looks like a DJ gone mad. Styx Bunk Junker. Say that 5 times fast.
Bunk Junker.
Bunk Junker. So that's gonna be an interesting garbage man type boss. Sprocket Monger Lock and Stock. I'm telling you, they went all out on these names.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Looks like he's got some kind of refineries running. The One-Armed Bandit is I don't know what that is just yet. Muggsy, the Heads of Security. So heads gonna be I think an ogre, a multi-headed ogre.
Yeah, it's an ogre. Yeah.
There we go. And then Chrome King Gallywix. Gallywix is in a giant floating head with a cigar and machine guns. And
it's pretty appropriate.
That seems like an appropriate end boss for the Undermine raid and story. Like that feels good, because we haven't seen this dude in a while. Everybody like, what's Gallywix? What's he doing? Huh? Last we saw him, he was like trying to corrupt people because of Azerite and just generally being a dirtbag. And now he's gonna live out his full dirtbag fantasy. So those are the bosses that you're gonna see there. And on top of that, we're going to have new class raid armor sets. Allie, the time-honored tradition of asking, how do you feel about your transmog for your raid armor set, your class raid armor set? Are you digging what you're gonna get, or should they go back to the drawing board?
I wish I could main my rogue, because the rogue one looks amazing. The priest one, being a worgen, helms rarely ever work, and for some effing reason, Blizzard makes the shoulders really big, and on some models they look all right, some models they look gigantic. They have this habit with a female worgen where they make the shoulders gigantic for them, but if you stand next to a female human who's wearing the same thing, it looks normal sized. What the hell? Like, if I had a rage segment, I'd probably rage a bit with that. Like, it bothers me. So as long as they don't do that with these shoulders, and I take the helm off because, again, helm doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Okay.
It's not like fantastic, but it's not bad. I'll take it. Yeah.
Okay.
How are you feeling about the warrior?
Here's the thing. It looks metal as hell. Like, I dig it. I like the helmet. Like, it's got this cool vibe to it that I did. Big spikes on the shoulders and all that kind of stuff. But it's missing something. Like, it's missing something. Like, if I could give it a grade, right?
I mean, it's all right. Like,
it's in the middle. Like, it's missing something. My guess is that, I don't know, maybe if I look at the mythic version of it or something, maybe it's got the thing that I feel like it's missing. But
do you know what is missing? Do you get a vibe of what you think it's missing? Is it missing, like, if you saw this epic, amazing metal weapon brought into this, would it tie the whole transmog together for you?
It's missing another accent of some kind. I don't know if it's an accent color or if it needs like some other little details, but I'm looking particularly at the legs and the boots. They're just
those are kind of plain. I'll give you that.
Kind of basic. You know,
yeah,
like
they are.
They're kind of basic a little bit. The shoulders, great. Chest plate, cool. Helmet, pretty good. The gloves, again, cool concept, but if it I don't know. It's missing something.
I'm just kind of thumbing through the rest of the transmog sets, and I feel like a lot of them have pants that are just very, except for the monk. Holy crap. Like, go look at the monk. That's what they did with the monk is crazy. But I feel like a lot of the rest of them, the pants are kind of basic. Oh, Death Knight's kind of cool though. Okay, the priest one's basic. And a couple of the other ones are basic.
All the good stuff. All the good stuff that the warrior should have got. They just give it all to the
I need to level mine. Look at that.
This Death Knight set is Hall of Fame.
It's really good. I need to level my rogue and my Death Knight.
Like if you folks haven't looked to see what the Death Knight tier or the raid armor set looks like this upcoming raid, it is one of the best transmog armor sets I have ever seen in this game, like of anything. It is insane.
Yeah.
Like it's so fucking good. And once again, I just find myself being jealous as hell. But good job, Death Knights. You did it again. So we'll get some of that. What other kind of rewards we get? Well, there's going to be mounts. There's going to be new special mounts that people are going to fight over in raid. So get ready. One of them is I love that we're finally acknowledging this within the WoW community. Prototype ASMR. ASMR standing for Automatic Sonic Machine Resonator. And it's like, it's like a, I don't even know what you call this. It's a flying mount that's got rockets on either side, kind of like a Harrier jet pointed underneath. And then there's some speakers on it. So it looks like it could have some kind of really good sound system on it with a name like ASMR. Better. The other are keys to the big G. So you get the mount, essentially, that Gallywix is flying around in while you fight him. That drops from Mythic difficulty Gallywix. So just cry now if you're not a Mythic Raider. For the prototype ASMR, this is what they say. They say, this is an extremely rare mount dropped from Chrome King Gallywix in all difficulties. So when you see those flying around, just know that they're lording that over to you, that you'll never have it.
The article even says extremely. If Blizzard is outright saying extremely, that tells you something.
If you didn't get your big love rocket or whatever they call it now from
X45 something or other.
X45 Heartseeker.
Yeah.
If you didn't get that during Love is in the Air, you're not getting this. So just forget about it.
Or maybe you'll have better luck with this. You never know.
You're cursed. You're never going to see it. You're going to have to wait until 10 years from now when you can raffle stomp all this stuff and run it every week just like you did for Invincible. That's how this goes.
Still haven't got Invincible.
This is the Warcraft cycle. So
that's true.
along with this, let's see. There was one other. Let's see. I got to jump into. We got the raid and some of that new stuff. We got our new dungeon, Operation Floodgate, which you mentioned a little bit earlier. And within that, we have a Mythic Plus rotation. If you do that, let's see. 5 dungeons from the War Within are included, with 3 dungeons from previous expansions. We got Operation Floodgate, Cinderbrew Meadery, the Rookery, Dark Flame Cleft, Priory of the Sacred Flame, and then from Battle for Azeroth, we have the Motherlode and Mechagon Workshop. And from Shadowlands, Theater of Pain. Good luck to all of you. There will be some other feats of strength. But you mentioned it earlier as well, and I think this is of special importance to myself and many others like us. There will be 2 new delves.
Yeah.
And the delve system, which it's been a pretty big hit, I think, so far. I think especially for those of us that are not full-time raiders, it's a great system to be able to jump into, have some challenges, get some rewards. Like it's proven to be pretty solid, although I think the balance between what is supposed to be solo content and then versus Like if you pair up with people or have other people come in, maybe it's easier, maybe it's not. There's a little bit of a balance issue perhaps. But we're getting 2 new delves. Side Street Sluice, which I think is in Undermine, and Excavation Site 9, which looks like a Titan facility that has been overrun by Old God forces, which, that's not good. That's never good. So we'll have those 2 new delves. Bran is getting a tank specialization, which I know a lot of people, including myself,
that makes me happy,
have been asking for. We'll also get new rewards, curios, a new nemesis, no longer Zekvir. So if you haven't defeated Zekvir, like our friend
better
Hallie
get
here
on
did,
that.
better fucking hurry, because if you're listening to this Monday, today's the last day. If you're not listening to this Monday the 24th, you out of luck.
Well, I've heard this is not, and maybe we can look it up, but I've heard 2 different things. I've heard it's going to be available until March 4th when the new season drops.
Oh, okay.
But I've also heard that it goes away when the new patch drops, so I'm not entirely sure.
They have it listed under, this is a good clarification, they have it listed under Season 2, and Season 2 doesn't start until March 4th. So maybe you do have another
You might
week.
have a little more time.
You might have a little bit more time. But it is going away. Whether
Yes,
whether it's
very
today
soon.
or whether it's a week from now, it's going away. So you better get on that. So with Season 2, they're going to be increasing the difficulty of all delves from Tier 4 and above. So that's, I think, how they're going to continue to keep this fresh. So if you're not keeping up with your gear, you're going to have to grind a little bit, I think, as the difficulty increases. They also said here, when Season 2 launches, players who have completed Ship It or Bran Bronzebeard will get a new quest introducing them to new things coming in Season 2. Building on one of those popular elements of the War Within, these additions will offer fresh exploration experiences, some seasonal updates, and feature a new adversary for Bran, which is the Underpin. The Underpin has stolen Bran's hat. This Zekvir's dastardly. This Zekvir style challenge will bring you and Bran face to face with Bran's newest nemesis, the Underpin, one of the meanest, craziest goblins within the Undermine. Follow along on the quest defeating the Underpin to bust into the Underpin's Tier 8 delve to get Bran's hat back. That's what we're doing.
I love that we went from Zekvir, who is big and mean and scary and has, working with the Queen Ansarek and Zalatath, all this. He stole Bran's hat. The bastard stole Bran's hat. We cannot stand for that, and that's why we're doing it.
We are going to die to reclaim a man's hat.
I mean, I love Bran. Don't get me wrong. I've always, because my first tomb was a dwarf rogue, so I've always had a soft spot for Bran. So I love Bran. But the fact that we're going through this to save his hat is hilarious and honestly pretty on theme for this season. So maybe it works.
Just silly. Just silly. Yeah. So you're going to be jumping in. Try to do that. So we'll have Excavation Site 9, Side Street Sluice, the Underpin, which is our challenge delve, and then other delves are going to be getting new variants. So Fungal Folly, Kriegwald's Rest, Earthcrawl Mines gets 2 new variants, actually.
Ooh.
The Dread Pit, Waterworks, the Sinkhole, Nightfall Sanctum, Skittering Breach, Techrathon, Abyss, the Underkeep, and the Spiral Weave. So all of those will be getting new versions. Those of you who do this often enough know which of those will probably be getting played more than others. Anything that's underwater, I will never see again. Just like a Cataclysm dungeon. Get wrecked.
Go get a water-breathing potion, and then it just means nothing.
I'm going to tell you a secret. I'm too lazy for that. There's no way I'm doing that much work.
Just run to the auction house, man. It's right there.
I'm not giving in to the man. Giving him money. I don't know. We'll also have a new Delver's Journey, right? So every season now we're going to have this Delver's Journey where, you do more delves, you progress in, the reward track. So we're going to get customizations for your Delver's Gobtrotter, the newest delve mount attainable during Season 2, along with the Delvo Bot 7001, a toy that delivers you to a random bountiful delve.
That's cool.
That's kind of cool. Treat your warband to a fresh new place to camp with a new underground campsite scene, Nightfall Sanctum. Unlocked once Season 2 Delver's Journey is complete. That's another one. I probably won't see that.
You will. I bet you could.
I did so many delves, and I was like, I wonder how far I've gotten. And I was like at the 4th node, and I think this is as far as I got. And I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. Like, I have done so many of these things now. Like, I got a life.
What tier of delves were you doing?
8.
You're doing 8s? That's all you got?
Rommel helped me get to, I think, a 10.
Yeah.
But that's as high as I got. I ran out of patience.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
I'll do better. Nightfall Sanctum campsite. That might be kind of cool. So those are your updates there. There's going to be other feats of strength and some different things. But overall, that's what we're looking at. There's also a world boss, the Gobfather, which
that's
is
amazing.
The giant mechanical dealy bob. But that in a nutshell, over the last 40 minutes that we talked about this, whatever, is what's coming in patch 11.1 here in basically 24 hours if you're listening to this episode when it comes out, or another week. And I think overall the goblin aesthetic is warming on me a little bit. I think once I get this always happens. I'm like, pandas. Yeah, I don't know about these pandas. I don't know if I'm going to keep playing Warcraft. There's going to be these pandas. And then I play the expansion. I'm like, God damn, this is a lot of fun. And then there's some other stuff like, old gods. I did get kind of tired of the old gods. But it's like, old gods, I don't know. And then we get into it like, this is pretty cool. Sort of the same thing here. So I'm like, I don't know. Goblins, like, they've always kind of annoyed the shit out of me. But there's some cool stuff happening here. And then I'm going to get a car. So maybe it's all right.
My suggestion, if you haven't listened to The Tipping Point yet, listen to it if you can before the patch drops, because I know for me that fed into my excitement for this patch.
Okay.
And in general, because the aesthetic's not mine either, so I totally get that. But knowing some of the fun, silly things they can do with that has me really excited. And, for example, and I won't go into all the details, but the thought they put into forming the zone, for example, there's a golf course and they're far underground. There's no wind to blow the flags. There's like a mini game
for that, isn't there?
You would see, I think so, something like that.
Yeah.
But there's no wind to blow the flags you would see at a golf course. So the goblins have manufactured some wind to make their flags move. And there's a lot of little details like that of what there's no trees down there, but you want trees, so there's some cardboard trees. Like it's
like a cardboard sky.
Yeah. They created a sky. Yeah. It'll be fun. I think it's gonna be a fun patch overall.
All right,
I'm dying to know. I haven't looked at the spoilers and data mining, so I'm just dying to know how Xalatath plays into all of this.
You know what? I gotta give it to him. It's pretty clever. Like,
I'm excited.
They've earned my trust. I think.
All right.
We talked about before. Dragonflight, did a lot. I think to begin repair, and War Within has just like strapped a rocket on that thing, and no pun intended, and like just kept it running. So I assume that they know the arc that they're going on. If they're going to announce 3 expansions and a whole saga at once, that they know where they're going. It's just gotta be patient, I guess. But yeah, it's coming out this week. Hope everybody has a good time. I know we'll be back here talking about it the next couple of weeks. So we'll see. We'll see what I think about Goblin Kind once I've had some cartel brushes with cartels and some other things. But you mentioned leading up to this, listening to the audio story that came out and other things leading up to this moment in time that we haven't really talked about on this show yet, and you're the perfect guest to bring this up with, is just prior to this part in the story, we had a couple of things that happened where we had a quest line that we played through that ultimately culminated in sort of the final send-off for Dalaran. And the first part of that was we spent some time with Orwena, who we haven't really done a whole lot with, and she was very prevalent in the cinematics that we saw. So it's kind of like, oh, what's going on with this Orwena? And we were tracking down the Black Blood, and she's having visions of what we now know as Undermine and some stuff that's going on down there, and Titan something being taken over by Old God stuff, which we just mentioned, as part of the delve. And she is communicating with Azeroth, as we have seen others at this point in time do. And then that led us into this whole quest line with Archmage Aethys Sunreaver, who was kind of standing vigil at the Dalaran. It's not even a crash site, just like a rubble site, whatever remnants of Dalaran remains, and waiting to see if anybody will come back, like will show up and kind of help him out. And nobody shows up. He's there by himself. He hasn't slept. He hasn't eaten. He's not taking care of himself. People are worried. And through a series of events, we help reclaim some of the items that have been lost or taken, and try to get some of the Kirin Tor and Dalaran items all locked up, and getting people involved, and getting, Jaina, right, coming back, and other people coming back to kind of help him and talk to us and figure out, okay, what do we do now? What does the Kirin Tor do now? I mean, we were involved in all these things, and here Dalaran got put into this central place of danger, and it was blown up, and people died, and it's a hell of a thing to reckon with. And I thought the way that they treated that sort of grief and pain and recovery, and I thought it was really well done. I think there were some really poignant moments in there that I'm like, God damn, Warcraft, why are you doing this to me? Like, this is supposed to be like fun.
My
and light,
emotions.
and like you're treating this like, like it really happened, and like how people like when you have PTSD, how do you manage that? Like, it was pretty deep.
It was.
And I thought it was really beautiful, and they kind of end with sort of, a la, Viking ships, like sending things off these, sort of magic boats into the sky, and like turning them into fireworks, and like, big send off or whatever. I thought it was beautiful the way that they handled it. But I find myself asking, like, if they sort of settle on, well, the Kirin Tor needs to stay out of the world's business, so to speak, to an extent, like, how do they even function or operate? Because they're the heads of the magic wielders. How do you stay out of stuff? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not really sure how they're going to accomplish that goal, but as our lore expert on the episode, how did all that hit you? What did you think of all that stuff?
Oh, it hit me good and hard. Sounds so bad. I loved how they explored the whole concept of survivor's guilt. Especially with Aethys, like that hit home for me, and I think it was really well portrayed. When we were gathering the items, I love that there was this moment where I think it was Jaina that was saying, maybe we shouldn't store all these really, really powerful items all in one friggin' place. Maybe not the best idea. Like, the Nerubians got hold of the schematics for the freaking mana bomb that destroyed Theramore. Not a good idea. So that was fun to go through all that. And it was the comments and talks of, well, Dalaran was in the ground, and then we had to move it. It didn't go so well. And then we put it up in the sky and had to move it. And that didn't and now it's fallen again. Maybe we don't rebuild Dalaran. Maybe we're not having the best of luck with Dalaran. So it was interesting to see them just call these things out. That was really cool to see him call those things out.
Do you think this precipitates a move for them maybe to Silvermoon, and that's why we end up there in Midnight?
I think it's entirely possible, because they got to do something, because you're right. Like, the Kirin Tor may not want to meddle as much as it did in the past, but they're still needed for their knowledge of magic and powerful things like that. They're still very much needed in the world, and I have been wondering what is going to bring them to Silver Moon. And I think that would make a lot of sense.
You got to set up somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I like the little outpost we helped them build. That's cool, but it's not going to stay there forever. We're not going to stay down in Dornagal forever, so that's
Are
a good
we
thought.
going to see magic Jaina Caligos babies? Are they back
Possibly.
together?
They're not back together yet, but they've been talking and reconnecting here and there. I can see it, and it does feel like Blizzard's starting to kind of not quite pass the torch yet, but building up to it. Like they've introduced us to grown up Erator and Dagran. Like we're starting to meet this kind of like newer generation, and they're probably looking for the longevity of Warcraft. It's going to continue past this saga or whatever. So I think it's a possibility down the road.
Okay.
Blue Dragon Jaina type running around or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in the longevity thing that you mentioned there, because I'm gonna bring that up in our Q&A, because we got a couple good questions, and there's one that touches on that. But yeah, it's Malfurion and Tyrande are off having.
They're having a honeymoon.
They're having a honeymoon period.
Something, yes.
They're gone.
Malfurion's finally awake. Got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, they're gone. Sylvanas is gone. Thrall's Thrall's back doing something, so he's one of the old guard that's back. But like Varian's dead. Magni is back being normal again, and he's gonna be a grandpa now or whatever. So he's kind of in the background, and yeah,
Greymane stepped down. His daughter Tess is leading now. Like
that's right.
A lot of that kind of thing happening.
There is a big turnover, for sure.
Yeah.
There is a big generational turnover. I think the longer you live, if you work somewhere, you see this. Like there's just the old guard retires, and then like the new generation comes in, and then you train the next, and it definitely has that feel, for sure.
Yeah.
And so now you're gonna have this new Kirin Tor. Like, what does that look like? Because it's not gonna be Khadgar. It's not gonna be, who's the guy that everybody hated, but he sacrificed himself? Dalaran, citizens of Dalaran.
Ronan.
Ronan.
Yeah.
I liked him, but all those, like all of them, they're gone, right? Or they're out of commission, or they're aged out, or whatever. So that's a very good point. So we'll see. But yes, that's where we left the story, and
It was a good send off. It
was a good send off.
Yeah.
And this is where we're gonna pick up. It's where we're gonna pick up this week is marching forward and seeing what happens in Undermine. We are running a little bit longer than I thought, but just for the sake of doing it, let's grade some trading post stuff.
Yes.
Because we're here. I'll try to pull out some new items, and I do want to note February is the anniversary month for the trading post. And because it is the anniversary month for the trading post, just this month and this month only is my understanding, they have special vendors. So if you're in Dornagal, there are special vendors down the walkway from where the trading post is, and they're selling a bunch of stuff that's already been out, and some of it is at a highly reduced cost. So if you haven't gone down there, I would definitely recommend it, because I picked up a bunch of stuff that I did not have, because for instance, there's a plate ensemble, the Fel Automaton Exo plate, and it was going for $850, and I got it for $350.
Wow.
Stuff pets that were $600, $650, going for $200.
And there's a mount, the Reigns of the Magenta Cloud mount went for $900. It's going for $500 now. That's huge.
Yes. So, for all of that,
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's there, baby. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
this is a GOAT move. I mean, now there are different vendors. There's one for mounts, pets, and toys, and there's one for armor transmog, and there's one for weapon transmog. Check them out, because they have a ton of stuff, and the discounts. The discounts.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's there, baby. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
You will never find a better deal in the trading post ever again. It's the greatest. And I hope they keep doing this because it's awesome. You know, especially because, you know, sometimes you don't have the cost. Sometimes, you know, if you've heard me grade these things over the time, like sometimes the cost is too high and I will not pull the trigger on something. And I'm like, you know, I don't know. Maybe next month is going to be something that's 1,900 or whatever. And I really want it. Like the Ashadar Harbinger of Dawn mount. It's still 900, but it's a pretty badass mount. So yeah. I might want to save up for something like that. So that is happening this month, but let's grab a couple of new ones just because we're here. So we'll start with we'll go with the mount, the Silver Moon Sweeper.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's there than me. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
600 Trader Tenders is a little high for what's kind of like it's like a motorcycle broom mount. Like, I don't really know how to describe
basically,
this thing.
Yeah.
But it's got that kind of like chopper vibe to it, which is pretty cool, and you can fly around with it. And it's a good model that they can continue to build and make other models like kind of in that flavor. So I dig it. We also have a couple of pets, the Full Belly Rolling Paw and the T-Tuft Tamer. Say that 5 times fast. Both for $350 each.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's there than me. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
I know it's fallen out of fashion, and I don't like to say this about myself, but I think most people, and Allie, you know me, you've seen me in person, you know me in like the human real world.
I do.
I consider myself to be, you know, your typical American manly man. Like I'm a big dude who likes, you know, barbecue and manly stuff and all of that. These two little, I don't know, red panda pets, whatever they are the cutest goddamn things ever. And you will shed a tear at their cuteness every time you see them.
They are really good.
They are ridiculously, stupidly cute, and I don't care who you are, they will get through your defenses. That's just how this is. Another one I want to hit up for $250 is the Crimson Pack of Lunar Explosives.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's there than me. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Now, I won't wear this. This is not something for me personally, but for $250, if you go check this thing out, they put a lot of time and love and effort into this back piece, and it looks really cool. If you know, it's kind of goblin-y, right? In that way, there's like explosives and fireworks and stuff going on. Like it has a vibe, and it's very well constructed. And I gotta say, they did a really good job on that one. As far as the rest of it goes,
I mean, it's all right. Like,
no, pick your poison. There's nothing in here I think is too offensive. If you really need some banded crimson war slippers, they only cost you 20 Trader Tender, and that's a pretty good deal. So, is there anything this month that in particular that you had to have?
Nothing I had to have. I do think I did get one of the red pandas. I think I also got. It may have been that. It was the Crimson War skirt and leg wraps. Because I think the leg wraps look kind of cool. And I might have to finding a top to go with that might be a little tricky, but I like the leg wraps portion of it. So, and with the short skirt, I'm like, okay, I can work with this. That's kind of cool. I don't know how it's going to look on a Worgen, but why not? So I'm pretty sure I grabbed that.
An important consideration.
If Worgen is so tricky for transmog sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think other than that, I think I just saved up for whatever March brings us.
It's the love is in the air transmogs and ensembles and stuff. Not really my jam. It thematically they did a really good job putting it all together, I think. But that there's a lot of that this month. So if that's not your vibe, it's definitely a good month to save. But the anniversary vendors, I think, are what take the big hit out of the wallet.
Yeah, I need
so
to. I admittedly have not gone to look at those yet, so that might be something I do in the next day or two.
There was so much stuff I had forgotten about, and when I pulled them up, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't have that. Oh god damn, that looks good. Oh, that's super cool. Oh man, why didn't I buy that? Oh, and then I look at the cost of what it was, and I go, oh, that's why. That's why I didn't buy it the first. Now it's a deal. Now I'll take it. Now it's perfect. So yeah, so get out there. You got a few more days on February. I don't know if we've seen March yet. If we have, I haven't looked at it.
I don't think so. I went and looked it up, and I did not see anything yet.
Okay. So March trading post will be right around the corner here, and I'll make sure we get some grades on that. So 2 more things before we go. The last we'll do Q&A. Actually, you know what? Let's do Q&A now. I'll save the other thing for the last because I don't know. Maybe not everybody's gonna want to listen to it, but fuck it, it's my show, and I want to do what I want to do. So listen to it or not. Let's go ahead and jump into our Q&A first. I got 3 questions for you this week. The first from Tetsemi in our Discord. So if you haven't joined the Unshackled Fury Discord, please jump in the Discord because it's a good way to farm questions for me. If you had to make a heavy metal song about a food and or food culture, what would it be about, and would Tauren chieftains be able to rock it? We'll go to our guest, Allie.
So I'm gonna go off just my first thing that popped into my head.
Yes.
For some reason, and I don't know if it would work, but I've been craving a really good steak lately. It's been awesome. I've had this like really good steak.
Yes.
And so that was the first thing that popped in my head. Could Tauren chieftains, like, could they sing? I mean, it might be a little awkward,
cannibalistic,
right? But then again, maybe they could really rock it out, metal and everything. Maybe it would work. It might be a little awkward.
Might be.
Do you think they can make that work? I don't know.
I do, and I'll tell you why. Because my choice was barbecue.
There you go.
I could very well see them singing a song about fire and meat and metal. Like, yeah, you know,
exactly.
there would be like a whole thing. I'm sure that they could put together. Now, maybe it doesn't have to be brisket because it's a little too close to home. Maybe it could just be about, like, I don't know, some pulled pork or, you know, some other, you know, a smoked chicken. I don't know. Maybe you could do some, you know, pork ribs. Maybe that might be more of, you know, what they would sing about. But absolutely, because there's fire and there's metal and there's meat of some kind. And there's usually some kind of utensil or something that you have to, like, you know, sharp object of some type that you have to use.
Stab things with knives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much in the wheelhouse. So I do miss them. And I you know, the Tauren chieftains, elite Tauren chieftains, level 80 elite Tauren chieftain, whatever, you know, they've had many names over the years, but that is definitely part of the old Blizzard guard that I do miss.
It is. Definitely.
I do miss that quite a bit, and you know, I wish them all well. Samwise Didier, call me. All right, second question, and this comes from Brother Nevox. While working on time walking items in the adventure guide, one of the objectives is complete quests in Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms. I was going out to Westfall to work on these older quests and gather herbs. I feel like our older zones need some love to bring them up to date with the changes over the years. Westfall doesn't have to stay a wasteland forever. Isn't it time for the WoW team to bring us back to the Eastern Kingdoms in some future expansion where we can make changes to the zone and have it phase into a nicer, greener, lucrative farm area? And not just Westfall. Anywhere in the older zones. It's like time has never changed in these areas. Yes. I think as Jez is always talking about revamping, like, starting zones and stuff like that. So
yes,
you know, every race has got something. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Nav. They've talked about and they have for at least, a year or so, year plus since the whole World Soul Saga got announced. Well, they've talked about going back to certain areas in future expansions, and they'll be sort of upclassing, I guess, to say where we are going. So, for instance, in Midnight, we know we're going back to Silver Moon, and they've talked about that whole area of the map is going to be revamped or kind of reworked in a way that upgrades it or scales it up in some, up-reses it, or, however, whatever term you want to use. It sounds like they're going to be doing that for that area. And then we know in Last Titan, we're going to Northrend, and they're going to be doing, I'm so fucking pumped. So they're going to be doing some stuff there as well. And we mentioned earlier, I'm going to pull the pin on the longevity that we were talking about a little bit earlier. And in a lot of these interviews, whether it's player housing, whether it's other parts of the game, the health of the game, World Soul, the fact that they've mapped out at least tentatively like the next 7 expansions, right? They're talking about decades, 20. I think, if we're talking on a timeline that they're talking about, I'll be fucking retired by the time all this stuff comes out. And I cannot believe that because I am in the middle of my working career. So, it's just like, it's bonkers to think about that. But if that's the longevity that they're talking about, and they're committing to Warcraft, and not a Warcraft 2, like people are like, oh, we got to do Warcraft 2. I do believe that over time, this is exactly what they're going to do, is they're going to continue to make these incremental upgrades across the zones as the years go by. So it might be a decade, but I do think at some point they are going to make their way through these zones and upgrade them, upclass them, or update them in a way like Nav mentions here with Westfall, that it's not all screwed up and has, cataclysm cyclones and, all this other stuff going on, that it's a viable farmland that it might have once been. And like for Westfall, for instance, we're going to get our neighborhood.
You could be my neighbor. It's okay.
All right. I'll have you on one side. I'll have the homie Rommel on the other. And I don't know.
See,
maybe
we're good.
Maybe we get some friends in here. They're going to put that neighborhood, let's say, I think they're going to put it in that border area between Westfall and Elwyn Forest, kind of south of where the entrance to Stormwind is. If you kind of go south along that mountain ridge, there's not a whole lot there. I think that's the perfect place to put that neighborhood, is right in there. And so what happens when you, again, I go back to the fact that now you're talking about something that those of us that are homeowners, now you're getting to a whole other level of knowledge that has nothing to do with this game, and now you're really going to get us going, because like this is real world shit that I actually know a lot about. So you go into this place and you develop a neighborhood. Well, listen, you're going to need to develop the other areas around it to support the neighborhood. So you're going to need the farms, you're going to need the shops, you're going to need to upgrade this stuff. Now, anybody that knows Sacramento, I'm going to use a really good example here. Anybody that knows Sacramento, north of Sacramento proper is an area called Natomas, and they built what was called Arco Arena out there. That's where the Sacramento Kings used to play. Seen a million concerts and like UFC events out there and WWE events. When they built Arco Arena, there was fucking nothing out there. There was fields. There was nothing. It was right off of I-5. There's nothing there. If you go out there today, Arco has been demolished. Arco's not even there anymore.
Oh, wow.
That entire area now houses, I mean, it's a small city. There's like 20,000 people up there now. They built out all these neighborhoods and shopping centers and office complexes. There's a Costco out there now. There's like all this stuff because you put one thing out in the middle of a field and people were going out there and getting ideas, and you were supporting a new community. That, I think, is the kind of anchor that you can put in a place and use that as redevelopment, story-wise, for your older zones as you go about and do it. But what about you? I've talked too long here. What do you think about sort of upgrading these older zones as we go? Should they just be up-res? Should they be changed to like show passage of time? Like, what do you think about that?
That's a good question, and definitely something to start considering, because I don't know about you, but when they announced, I mean, obviously, World Soul Saga, super psyched. It made a lot of sense. Story-wise makes sense. When they mentioned how far into the future they're already looking and planning for.
Mm-hmm.
I would never have thought that Warcraft would keep going that long.
It's crazy.
And story-wise, no fucking idea what they're gonna do and where they're gonna go. So I do like your idea of just over time revamping these zones and upgrading them. And I do think it should show the passage of time, because a lot of time has passed since we started this game. And we had, for example, the Westfall Inn took forever to get fixed. And so I think there's a lot of things that they could do to update the zones to show, oh yes, there was this scar from Deathwing, but look, it's healing. And other things like that. As we go to the different zones, story-wise, it makes sense for Blizzard to do it that way with their resources. So that's cool. And I would like to see, because that makes it more immersive and makes us more connected, because it's more realistic. A lot of things have happened in these zones, so it makes sense to upgrade them accordingly.
Westfall is a good candidate too, because there's really not a lot out there.
There's not, no.
There's not a lot going on in that zone. That's a good one.
Dead
Last question, and this comes from you. What character from Warcraft would you like to see in Cyberpunk? And what character from Cyberpunk would you like to see in Warcraft? Allie?
I was like, I didn't ask a question. What are you talking about? When I asked that question, I should have thought about my own answer. What would I want to see? This is good. I want to see Flynn Fairwind in Night City.
Because you've only seen so much of it.
That is true. I'm only like 50 something hours again, and maybe like 55 hours, and like still have a lot to see. I want to see Flynn Fairwind in Night City. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be, now granted I'm biased because I love him, but I think that would be very entertaining. So I'll take some Flynn in Night City. That'd be great. Who should come over to WoW? Who would actually fit? I mean, because seeing Johnny in there would be great, but would he actually fit? I don't think so. That'd be interesting to see his reaction to things. So maybe not Johnny. Who would I want to see come over? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think I could see a place where Pan Am could possibly come in.
There you go.
And work well. So for the sake of not sitting here for an hour as I contemplate my real answer, let's go with Pan Am.
Okay.
And then down the road, as I experience more of the game, maybe that's going to change.
You can drop your updated answer in our Discord.
Exactly. Like, I'm just now meaning River. Like, who knows, man? I'm going to say River. I don't know. So there's just, I still have a lot
Nobody
to do.
picks River.
No one picks River? Okay. Good to know.
All right. Well, good answers all around. Thank you, folks, for submitting your questions for our Q&A. I'll continue to prompt everyone in our Discord because no one's yelled at me for doing that yet, so I'll keep doing that. And please feel free to drop your questions in there for us to answer. And you can always email us too at unshackedfuryshow@gmail.com, which I'll mention again later. But between that conversation and us actually getting out of here, did want to talk about Cyberpunk. We're going to talk about Cyberpunk, and folks, if this is not your jam, you don't give a shit, well, thank you for listening and appreciate your service. But Allie, you finally broke through and started playing my much beloved Cyberpunk 2077 after all the things that I've said and others have said, and my great love of the franchise and everything else. So far, you seem to understand the hook now.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost painfully hooked. Because now, like, for example, there's so much I want to do in WoW still before the patch drops. But I want to go play Cyberpunk before the patch drops so I can get more Cyberpunk time in. So it's...
What is it that hooks you so much? Like, if you could describe to people, like, what is it that you find is like, oh man, this is what makes this so great?
It's very easy to get lost in because it is immersive, because of the story, and because with it being, first person and the way you're connecting to these different stories and the characters and interacting, and your choices actually matter. It's so immersive. The city is very much alive, and there's so many just random encounters and things to do and things to explore that it just has me hooked, and I want more of it, and it's so much fun. And the fact that I can now, like, I'm doing kind of a knife throwing pistols build.
Like it.
So the fact that I can just throw some mean headshots and just I'm at the point where I can just like throw a headshot, dead. And it's very satisfying.
Yeah.
It's very, very satisfying.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that there's parts of it that it's not so cut and dry. Like is this action, or is this person good, or is this action and person bad? Like there's a lot of morally gray and being unsure, especially when you don't know the full story and you're going into it fresh. You don't know. You don't, like, I'm just going through stuff with Songbird and the president. I'm putting that on the back burner from now. The whole time I'm like, I don't know if I trust either of you. So, I mean, what am I supposed to do with this? And because you don't know the story going into it fresh, you do have to kind of make those quick decisions. I mean, yes, okay, you can go Google it and ruin it for yourself, but don't
do that.
Just be in the moment and make the decisions that your V would make. And that's another thing that just brings the story to life and has me hooked. And every time Johnny pops out to talk to me, everyone else is on hold, and I'm just talking to Johnny. Like, that is my whole purpose in life. Like, my husband could walk in. Thankfully, he knows the game, so he gets it. But if Johnny's talking to me, you do not interrupt. Let me finish talking to Johnny first.
So good, like that.
So good.
It's I think it's his greatest role. Like, I'm his biggest fan, and I love everything he's ever done, even the shitty movies. But like, the role of Johnny Silverhand only exists for Keanu Reeves.
I can't imagine anyone else playing that line. And there's little things. The more you interact with him and pick up on those things, you start picking up on how he's becoming a little more like V's becoming a little more like him. Like at the one point where Songbird is, are we can I talk about story? Like,
yeah.
Is this,
yeah.
I mean, it's been out for a while, right?
Then
so
thank you for listening.
Okay, bye. So the moment when Songbird mutes Johnny.
Yeah.
And so it's just you and Songbird. And just the way, like, V, what happened? I forget what happened. I got knocked out. And so V, something like, what did she say? Hell yeah, or fuck yeah, or what the fuck? I forget exactly what she said. Right now, I've slept since then. But it was just like Johnny would say. And it's a phrase Johnny has said a lot. And you start to pick up on these little things and how that relationship is going between the two of them. And it's very intriguing, which is another thing that keeps me going, because I want to know more and understand and unravel more of the story. So it's great.
I mean, because you messaged me quite a bit, like, hey, I'm here, here's what's going on, or whatever it is. And like, it truly, I'm like, I'm so glad that somebody else gets it. Because it's like, I feel like the lone apostle out here, like, trying to be like, listen, I'm telling you guys, like, this thing is different. Like, there's nothing like this that I know of. Like, there really isn't. But, you know, it had a bad launch and people got all mad at it, and, you know, there was a whole thing. But I'm telling you, none of that is a problem. Like, it was never a problem on PC. It was more or less the console ports, because they had to rush those and they fucked that up. But, you know, it's you mentioned consequence. I hear people, it's funny because I hear people talk about, you know, I wish Warcraft gave you like two options for something, and whichever one you chose like actually had some long-term implication for your character. But the way that cool. Warcraft is built, right, it doesn't work that way, because you only have so many things that can happen. Whereas in Cyberpunk, I want to say there's like 7 or 8 different endings. Right?
Yeah.
And there's even like stuff within that where some decisions you make may only alter some conversations that are had. So like just the experience of it is different, but maybe the end result, it doesn't affect as much. But then there are things that you will do or not do, and it will impact 50 hours later, something that you're doing or whatever it is. And the first time you play through, you don't know because you don't have anything to compare it to.
Right.
But then you'll go back a second time and you're like, wait a minute, I did this differently the other time, or I said something differently, or maybe I did something in a different order. So like if you did certain quests before other quests, the reactions of certain characters will be different depending on what you did. Some people may have heard of you because you did something and they're like, oh shit, I'm not going to mess with this guy. Or they don't know who you are at all. And they're like, hey, we're going to kill this guy. Like, there's so many different ways that it plays out. And that's, where it gets, I think its replayability is, you can do different builds and different weapons and, the different paths that you take. And it's been so much fun kind of watching you explore all that for the first time. And I said it before we recorded, I'm so jealous because like I probably have seen or know about 90+% of the game.
Right.
And they're still finding stuff. There's still secrets that people haven't found.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
The developers, well, if they've been found, nobody knows because they didn't put it out there publicly, right? They didn't put it on a Reddit forum somewhere.
Right.
Like, oh, I found this thing.
It's just no one's found it so far.
Right. And the developers have said, like, every little patch that they put in or major patch, they've said there's other secrets there, but y'all got to find them. And not all of them have been found. So
wow,
there's still stuff out there in Night City that is waiting to be discovered. And sometimes it's just little stuff, and sometimes it could be part of something bigger. There was a big mystery, the was it FF06B6, whatever it was. There was like a big mystery sub thing that was going on in Cyberpunk, and they think they solved it, but they're not really sure. And it's its own life, it's its own franchise. It's been around since I was a kid. Mike Pondsmith, right, did the original source books way back in the 80s. But it's been a lot of fun watching you, for sure, like kind of unfold all of this stuff. So yeah, where are you at now? Remind me, like you're...
So the most recent thing I did was I opened up Dogtown to the point that I could steal vehicles now for El Capitan. And then like I got the president out. She's in the safe house.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go do a quest to go find Songbird because Songbird went MIA.
Yes.
But I'm gonna put that on the back burner for now because I finally got out of Dogtown. So now I'm stealing cars, and I've got Judy and a few people she recruited to waiting on me to go talk about a plan.
Yeah.
With clouds and Moxies and whatnot. So Takamura is waiting on me for the next part of that main quest.
Which part? Where are you on that? Waiting for?
Where is he waiting on me for?
Have you surveilled something yet? Are you meeting him on a bridge? Are you meeting him and his homie?
I did that. Okay. I think that was the last thing I did for him. It was like kind of like a little bridge area, and you're in a van.
Did you sit down and eat teppanyaki?
Trying to remember what happened. Yes, we did. That. Like we sit in the booth, and then you talk, and then he leaves, and then Johnny appears.
No, there's another one where you are up on you're outside, and there's like a little vendor outside, and you're sitting there, and something comes on the TV, and
I don't know if I've done that one.
No,
yet.
You haven't done that one.
I've stopped pretty early in that main story. I want to get back to it, but also like I want to find that balance between doing all the other things, but also not progressing the main stories too far.
Yeah.
But I still want to progress them, and so not knowing where to stop things, like it's hard to really know. Like, should I go back to that or not? Like,
yeah.
And there's been enough to distract. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the main story, and this was something they said early on, the main story isn't very long.
Right.
Like the main, if you only did like the main storyline, yeah, you probably could do it in like 20 or 25 hours. Like it's
And that would just be sad.
It's not
We've missed so many
super.
things.
Yeah, it's just not super long. The Takamura stuff, especially, like that's kind of like the main.
Right. Yeah.
I would think. But like all the stuff with Judy, all the stuff with Pan Am, doing the fixer quests, the fixer missions.
Yeah, and you go do some of those.
Those get you a lot of XP and your like your attribute points. When you finish all of the ones for each fixer, you get a reward from them.
That's cool.
And you get one of the best cars from Dino, who is the fixer downtown, and he gives you like it's like the Bullet Mustang looking thing. It's a Quadra, but it's badass.
Nice.
Yeah, so I recommend doing like the Cyber Psycho quests.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of those.
Yeah, doing those, doing the fixer quests.
I did the fights. I have.
Okay, good.
I did the fights. I have the last one. Like it's all set up right for me.
At the mall.
Yeah. I tried it a couple times and it was a little tricky, so I went and got some gorilla arms.
Easy.
And then I also went and fought Ozob, the guy with the grenade nose.
Oh my god.
I just fought him yesterday.
The best.
So I'm gonna head back to the mall and finish that fight. Hopefully now I have gorilla arms and I've leveled up a bit more. So
punch him in the gut.
Yeah.
Punch him in the gut.
And he's just. I was like, how do I punch someone in the gut? I just like, do I crouch? So I don't know.
You just have to look down.
Look down.
Look at their midsection.
And like Vic would tell me, like punch him in the gut. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. And I'm like, I don't know how. So I just need to look. I need to look down more.
Look down and just punch in the gut and the block. Yeah. It's always the counter.
The block, yeah. So I think now that I have the gorilla arms, I think that should be pretty doable.
Just counter, look down, hit him in the gut. Yeah. You got him. Easy.
Yeah, it should be fine. Easy peasy.
Aren't you glad you're listening to a Warcraft podcast, everybody?
About Cyberpunk.
Sorry, buddy.
We could talk about it for a while easily. And I do appreciate that when I'm geeking out about it, I can just message you and be like, this is what I'm doing, or this is what's happening. And it's fun to be able to share that with you. So thank you for joining me on my adventure that way.
Absolutely. Well, it makes it feel like my knowledge is worth something. So
it is. It's been super helpful.
Selfishly, I appreciate that. And part of the reason why I wanted to talk about it on this here is an opportunity for other people to kind of hear your excitement. So if they were, on the fence about ever playing it and getting another opinion, like Jez loves it. So I love it. You're finding why it, so beloved by so many.
Yeah. Now. It's so easy to get lost in. And it's a good stress relief. Like if you need a solid stress relief game that you could just go hide out in. Yeah. Cyberpunk, go do it.
Yep.
It's so helpful. And there really hasn't been there's been a couple bugs here and there, but it's been super minimal. Mm-hmm. Like if a corpse ends up halfway in a wall, I can't loot it. And so that loot is taunting me. Mm. And that's happened maybe twice, and that's it. Like it's been fairly clean, honestly. So I do need Johnny to stop telling me to slow down. I don't know why he has a problem with me driving so fast.
Oh.
I don't get it. It's like, you're going to get us killed again. I'm like, no, I'm not going to slow down. Why are you telling me to slow down, Johnny?
Shut up, Johnny.
Disappointed.
The worst passenger. Worst passenger.
Sometimes it is cool. Like a couple times, like, it's nice to see you again. I'm like, hey, it's nice to see you again too.
That's new.
Don't tell me to slow down. Oh, is that new?
That just got added in the last little mini patch.
Him driving in like 2-seaters with you? Mm-hmm. That's what, okay, cool.
That's brand new.
That's awesome. I love it. It's a really nice touch.
Yeah, it's such a cool experience, and I know people again were put off on the launch 4 years ago, but it's such a complete thing, and they're gonna keep building on it. And I think I mentioned this too, is sort of the companion piece to it, and what got a lot of people excited more recently is the Edge Runners anime. That
I still need to start that. I haven't started that yet.
You should watch it. And I don't want to say anything. I don't want to spoil anything or say anything, but I've watched it now a number of times, and
of course you have.
How I feel at the end of it hasn't changed. I'll just say that. It's
See, no, but do you think I should watch it now, or should I get into the game a little bit more?
No.
Like, Sniper's saying I should wait. You're saying I should watch it.
I think now that you've been in the game for like 50 plus hours.
Yeah.
The thing that I think about in terms of the relationship between the two is the studio that made it, they made it using exact locations. Like,
that's really cool.
When they're in a place, you can go to that same place. When they're in an apartment, or when they're out on the street, or they're out in the outside the city, like, all of these places are locations in the game. You can go there, and in some cases, because Edge Runners takes place before 2077, there is still evidence of that story.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So,
because I'm definitely at the point where I'm just wanting to absorb all of the lore and story of Cyberpunk. I'm at that point now, so I'm definitely gonna have to dive in, I think.
All I would say is watch it. Prepare yourself.
Okay, I will do that.
Ride. It's a ride. But very, very, very well done. It's so fucking good.
I'm excited.
So, all right, folks, there you go. We'll talk a little Cyberpunk as we tend to do, and that's just, fuck you. It's my show. If you don't like it,
I will come talk Cyberpunk anytime.
And
Warcraft too, I guess.
You can go listen to, I don't know, go listen to Live Laugh Lore. They got a better show over there anyway.
Well, we don't talk about the news though. You need to share the news.
Well, anybody can do that. You can watch a million streams, but us redheaded stepchildren over here, we gotta keep it real for the podcast.
We're holding down our corner of it. It's all good.
That's how we do it. Do it. All right. I think we've done enough damage for one episode. So for those who don't already know, where can the good people find you out on the internet, Allie?
Well, you can hear me on Live Laugh Lore every week. And I do have Twitter at Alejandras K, and Blue Sky is Alejandras. I've been far less active on social media lately, just for my own mental health, which has been good. But I'm trying to get in there a little bit more, especially over on Blue Sky, because when you do a podcast, it helps to be kind of connected. But I am around on both of those at some point.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on and being my co-host for today, and it's always a good time having you on. So I'm sure we will cross paths on this show at some point again in the future, and I look forward to seeing y'all on Live Laugh Lore here in a week or so. So everybody,
it'll be fun.
Keep your eyes and ears out for that, and go hit up that interview that they did recently as well. And my thanks as always to all of you for listening. And remember, you can always follow me and this show on Twitter at Berserker Rage and Unshackled_Fury, on Blue Sky at Berserker and Unshackled Fury, as well as on Twitch at Unshackled Fury and Real Berserker. You can also join our Discord, again, links for which are in the profile of the show on Twitter and on our website, unshackledfury.com. Somehow it's still up and running. Feel free to contact the show with your questions, comments, or otherwise through any of those resources, or email us at unshackledfuryshow@gmail.com. And you can find this show wherever you get your podcasts. So once again, thank you for listening. Remember to keep your swords wet and your banners high, and we'll see you next time. Farewell.